today's Top 5 Wednesday is top 5 authors you would like to meet, so let's do this. Hi everybody, it's Lydia here. So I've kind of viewed this top 5 probably slightly different to a few of you. I am not really the kind of person who enjoys book signings. I find them quite awkward, honestly. So I've kind of looked at this top 5 more as top 5 of authors I would like to hear talk. I hope that makes sense. Sort of like in maybe talking about the books or literature or just general topics as a whole. I've kind of looked at it from that point of view because I'm just not a book signing person or a signing person in general. What can you do? But anyway, and number 5 is Samantha Shannon. I picked her because I just absolutely love this series and I would really like to hear her talk about it. She's doing actually a tour for the release of the Mime Order and I kind of really want to go. Don't think I'm going to be able to, which is a shame, but I would have loved to go see her, especially she's doing the appearance in Oxford with Andy Serkis and I would really want to go to that, but I'm just not going to be able to, which is a shame. But I would, yeah, I just really like to hear her talk about the world building and her ideas and how she came up with them and stuff like that. At number 4 is Neil Gaiman. I picked him because I follow him on quite a lot of different social networks and he just has a lot of very interesting views on things, not just related to literature but generally society and the world as a whole. So I think he'd be a really interesting person to go listen to talk. At number 3 is Erin Morgenstern because I really just want to hear her talk about the why she chose to write The Night Circus as she did, because I think it's a really interesting style that she's written it in. For those of you who haven't read it, it's written partly as if you as the reader were walking through the night circus and it just talks about the circus as a whole, and I just think it's a really enchanting and interesting way of writing it. And also at the end in her acknowledgements she acknowledges Punch Drunk Theatre Company, who are by far my favourite theatre company, and I'd be really interested to hear about what she'd feel about them adapting the book, because that would be something that I would absolutely love to happen, and I'd just be really interested in knowing what she thought about that. So yeah, she's my number 3. At number 2 is Roxane Gay. You can probably tell that I would want to hear her talk because of the number of little post-it things I have in the side of this book. I just think so much of what she writes and talks about is just incredibly important, and she has just such a witty way of putting across her opinions and her views, and I just love reading this book, and I think she would be really interesting to hear talk about not just about this book but about everything. I think she would just, she comes across as one of those people who could just make any topic whatsoever interesting to listen to, so I'd really like to hear her talk. At number 1 is very much just a kind of wishful, well, it's not even wishful thinking, it's sort of like, you know, really sad that I'll never get to see this person talk, and that is Gerald Ford, because I think he must have been an incredibly interesting person, and he was obviously so fascinated by different cultures and languages, and I think it would just have been so fascinating to hear him talk. And whenever I've kind of read anything by him, not just like his fictional works but his like the letters, I have a book of his letters and they're just really interesting, and so I would have loved to have heard him talk, and it breaks my heart a little bit that I never will be able to. So that is it for this week's top 5. I know I changed it round a little bit, but what can you do? There we go. I'll be back tomorrow with my spoiler-filled review of Gates of Thread and Stone by Laurie M. Lee. For those of you who don't follow my channel and aren't aware, this week I'm basically talking about spoiler-filled versus spoiler-free reviews, and so tomorrow I'm going to be doing a spoiler-filled review of Gates of Thread and Stone, and on Friday I will be doing a spoiler-free review, and I would just like to know which people prefer, basically, because yeah, I think they both result in very different reviews in a way. So yeah, if that's something you'd be interested in, then you can click the subscribe button below, or if you're already subscribed, then just check it out tomorrow. There we go. But until then, I hope you have a good day, and bye!